Welcome back to Cine Dive Recaps. Today, we're diving into a thrilling adventure, comedy, and family film from 2013, Jack the Giant Slayer. Spoilers ahead, so if you haven't watched it yet, consider this your warning.
Once upon a time, there was a young boy named Jack who lived with his father. He absolutely loved the exciting tales of giants that his mother used to tell him every night before she passed away. The legendary story went something like this. Long ago, a group of monks discovered magical beans. They believed these beans could grow a massive stalk that would lead them straight to heaven. But when they climbed up, they were shocked to find not heaven, but the dangerous land of Gantua, the terrifying home of giant warriors. These giants stormed down to earth, destroying villages, stealing everything in sight, and worst of all, they developed a horrible hunger for human flesh. Little Princess Isabel loved this same story too. Her mother would read it to her and playfully ask, "Aren't you scared of the two-headed giant leader?" Isabel would bravely shake her head no, and her mother would continue the tale with a smile. To fight back against these giants, the monks turned to dark magic. They melted the hearts of giants to forge a powerful crown. King Eric wore this crown and gained complete control over the massive creatures. He forced them back to Gantua and turned their world into a prison. Then he cut down the beanstalk, bringing peace back to the human kingdom. The crown and a few remaining magic beans were buried with King Eric, and over time, the whole story turned into legend.
Young Jack would often ask his father at bedtime, "Will the giants ever come back?" His father would reassure him that noble guardians would protect them, and the giants weren't real anyway. Meanwhile, Isabel's mother reminded her daughter that she carried the blood of King Eric. She encouraged the curious princess to learn about the world, because one day she would become queen and could make it a better place. As Jack grew up, that old warning from the story stayed with him, that one day the giants might return to destroy the last descendants of King Eric. 10 years later, Jack's uncle sent the now-grown young man to the city to sell their horse, strictly warning him not to get distracted. But in the bustling town, Jack couldn't help but stop at a lively street play that was retelling the epic tale of King Eric and the giants. There in the crowd, Jack locked eyes with a beautiful girl, and she noticed him staring at her. Before the show ended, 3 rough men started harassing her. Jack bravely stepped forward to protect her, only to get punched hard in the face. Still, he begged them to leave her alone. Suddenly, a royal guardian appeared. The troublemakers quickly backed off. When the girl climbed onto a horse, the men fell to their knees in respect. Jack was completely confused until the guardian told him to kneel too. That's when he realized she was none other than Princess Isabel. Moments later, Jack discovered that someone had stolen his horse and cart. At the same time, the ambitious Lord Roderick was plotting his marriage to the princess to gain power. He soon learned that the precious magic beans had been stolen from the royal vault. Furious, he ordered the city gates sealed and the thief, a monk, hunted down. The fleeing monk ran straight into Jack, who was still trying to sell what little he had left. The monk offered a deal: the magic beans as collateral for the horse, claiming they were valuable holy relics. He gave Jack a serious warning: don't lose them, and whatever you do, don't get them wet. Jack's uncle was furious when he found out about the trade. He scolded him harshly, saying he needed to grow up. In the palace, the king was also angry with Isabel for sneaking out again. She protested against her arranged marriage to Roderick, but the king stood firm.
That stormy night, everything changed. While Jack was worried about his uncle out in the storm, the runaway princess knocked on his door, soaked and lost. Jack welcomed her inside. They talked warmly about books, adventures, and even joked about the fight at the market, pretending at first they didn't know each other. Eventually, Jack knelt and admitted he knew her true identity. Isabel thanked him for standing up for her honor. As they were chatting, rainwater slowly reached one of the magic beans under the house. Without any warning, the ground trembled violently. A gigantic beanstalk suddenly exploded upward, tearing through the floor and lifting the entire house high into the stormy sky, with Isabel trapped inside.
He fought his way up to the house, but in the chaos, he fell all the way down, still clutching her mother's bracelet. He survived the long fall, but blacked out. The next morning, the king himself woke Jack up and demanded to know why he had his daughter's bracelet. After hearing the full story, Jack was allowed to join the rescue team, along with Captain Elmont and the suspicious Lord Roderick. The group began the long and dangerous climb up the enormous beanstalk. Roderick clearly had secret plans of his own. They faced terrifying heights and sadly lost several men along the way. When they finally reached the top, they stepped into the mysterious and dangerous world of the giants. There, real horror awaited them. Giants captured some of the men. Roderick managed to seize the magical crown and used its power to control the giants. To everyone's shock, he revealed his true betrayal. He wanted to become king and use the giant army to conquer the entire human world. Meanwhile, Jack bravely sneaked through the giant city. He found Isabel and Elmont about to be cooked alive in the giant's kitchen. In an intense and clever fight, Jack killed a giant using its own cooking tools. Elmont was truly amazed by the young man's courage. Back on the ground, the king ordered the beanstalk to be cut down to protect the kingdom. At the top, Elmont stayed behind to confront Roderick. A fierce struggle ended with Roderick's death. But before dying, the two-headed General Fallon took the crown and declared himself the new leader of the giants. The collapsing beanstalk created massive chaos. Jack and Isabel barely escaped by riding parts of the falling stalk. But the threat wasn't over yet. General Fallon used the remaining magic beans to grow new stalks and led his entire army down to Earth. A massive battle erupted outside the city walls. Giants smashed through everything in their path. In the final heart-pounding moment inside the palace, Jack came face to face with the enormous General Fallon. With quick thinking, he threw the last magic bean straight into the giant's mouth. The beans sprouted violently inside him, defeating the monster and completely turning the tide of the battle. With the crown back under human control, the remaining giants surrendered. Peace was finally restored. Years later, Jack and Princess Isabel were happily married. Jack could be seen reading the old giant story to their children by the fireside. When the kids worried about the crown and whether the giants might return one day, Jack smiled and told them it was safely kept far away. Isabel joined the beautiful family moment, and they all shared the timeless tale together. In the end, we see that the magical crown was reshaped into the famous imperial state crown that still exists today, safely guarded in Westminster Abbey in London.